what you're actually doing with due date quoting is you're taking into account the variability and you're being predictable because you're looking at the status of the system. I think it's brilliant. Talk a little bit about how that transpired.
The first area that we looked at was really customer service leadership because they are the most impacted. At first, there was a lot of concern, but then once they saw the system, they were very excited about it. Sales was a little bit harder to bring on and actually declined it at first. What we did was we did a secret pilot on 2 or 3 items. Then we presented it to the executive team and said, we've been actually using this on these 3 items, and here's been the benefit, right? We were able to shrink cycle time. We're able to increase our OTIF. The gap between the requested delivery date and when we actually committed to it was very small for our large customers. And so once they saw that, they were much more on board to roll this out.
Yeah, well, you have different levels of adaptation. It's kind of a change management curve, right?
It is. It is.
What's the reaction to that? I would think with the due date quoting, that would kind of help you adapt to that because you can only make it as fast as you can make it. How does that work?
Absolutely. You hit it right on the head there. Yes. So when the customer sees, oh, this is taking off, and they come to us and they say, hey, we know we said this was 1 million, but it's really 3 million. We'll look at that due date quoting versus the lead time and say, you know what, we can make this a little bit sooner because this dropped out of the schedule for whatever reason, or we're increasing OEE and actually output on this line. So that's the way we react is, when customers get what they want, right? Which is their stuff took off and then they'll come to us and say, when can you make it? We do utilize that due date quoting.
So you mentioned it's mostly make to order, so you don't have stock inventory, but still, I'm curious what happened with the financial performance, particularly cash flow, when you made the change.
And improved because we were able to turn the orders faster. So when you're quoting lead time, and say your lead time is 12 weeks, generally that really means anywhere between 8 and 14 weeks. And so what was happening was customer service was almost literally waiting until the product was out on the dock to say, customers come pick it up. Well, with due date quoting, and for the plants that have the higher performance against that, they are comfortable enough calling the customer and saying, your order is running on April 2nd. Can you arrange your truck today? And then that way, if the truck is coming in on April 2nd, we're getting that invoice, improving cash flow. Whereas before they would wait until April 2nd. Okay, customer, please contact your carrier, adding 3 or 4 more days.
Wow. Well, that certainly communicates to your customer that you have good control over your system, which inspires confidence. So, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently, if anything?
I would take a lot more time explaining the difference. There is still some misunderstanding in how due date quoting works, what we look at. So I would take much more time and actually have a much larger pilot. But I would definitely take more time to teach exactly what was happening because there was such a misunderstanding of what we were really trying to measure.